Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2024 Cadillac XT5, we're going to be showing you how to install the Curt Trailer Hitch Receiver. Before we do that though, let's take a minute, check it out, and make sure it's going to be right for you. So by installing a trailer hitch on the back of your Cadillac, it's going to let you do a few different things, you know, pull a trailer around, use accessories, or even a little bit of both. So you're definitely going to want something that'll get the job done, and this will do just that. And the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of putting a hitch on a Cadillac is how it's going to look. You know, these are really sharp SUVs, and I wouldn't want to take away from that. And the really nice thing about this setup is it will live behind this removable door. So when you're not using the hitch, you can simply put this back into position and it'll look completely factory, you know, so you won't even be able to see it, which I think is awesome. And then when you are ready to use it, you'll pull that door off and you'll have complete access there. Something that came to my mind, at least with this removable door, so when you do go to reinstall this, or remove it for that matter, there's going to be two fasteners that you'll have to pull out, and they're Torx bit screws. So my thought, you know, you might be able to go to the hardware store, bring that screw with you, and find something that you can do by hand. That way you don't have to mess with tools. Just a thought, you know, I think it'd be cool. Either way though, it's convenient having that hitch actually live behind this panel. With that said, compared to some of the other hitches available, there's an eTrailer one that is essentially the same exact thing as this. It does have a matte black finish to it though, which I kind of like a little bit better than the Curt. This one's gloss black. I think the eTrailer one blends in a little bit better when you have the door off, but that's just my opinion. And then there's another hidden type hitch that actually has a removable receiver tube opening there. But honestly, you know, my thought is having these fixed style ones behind the door already, it's kind of unnecessary. And with the Curt eTrailer, you know, they're going to offer much higher capacity, so it'll definitely be a little more versatile. A big question a lot of people ask is, you know, is a hands-free liftgate assist feature still going to function when you put the trailer hitch on the back of your SUV? And the answer is yes. I find that if you kick your foot to the left side, seems to work the best, and the hatch will open up like it should. The hitch is going to have a 2" by 2" opening, which is good because it's a super common size, so a lot of stuff will work with it. It is going to use that standard 5/8 pin. Keep in mind though, pin and clip does not come included with the hitch. If you need one, not a huge deal. You can get it here at eTrailer. A lot of times, if you end up buying a new accessory, they'll come with one, so something to look out for. Safety chain openings definitely sit back a little ways, but still manageable to get to, and they're large enough to allow you to use just about any size hook that your trailer might have on it. The hitch is going to have some really good weight capacities. Maximum gross tongue weight rating will be 750 pounds, which is the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. That's good enough for just about any size bike rack or cargo carrier, to give you an example. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating, that's going to be 5,000 pounds, or the amount of weight that is pulling on the hitch. That's the weight of your trailer plus anything you might have in or on it. This can be used with a weight distribution system, which is a separate component. And what happens when you use that, it's going to keep your Cadillac and your trailer level whenever you're towing it down the road. Pretty popular on campers and enclosed trailers, so that's what you're doing. Might be worth looking into. And if you do use that, your tongue weight rating remains the same at 750, but the trailer weight rating will increase to 6,000 pounds. Now with all that in mind, I do always like to suggest, never a bad idea just to grab your Cadillac's owner's manual. That way you can check in there and make sure that your XT5 can handle that much weight safely. We'll grab a couple of measurements now, and these will help us figure out what type of accessories will work best. If you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be about 19 inches. So if you plan on pulling a trailer, you can use a ball mount that has a small drop in the shank. Probably 2 inches work well for most scenarios. And if you're using an accessory, one that has a straight shank or one that even has a rise will work just fine. If you go from the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, That's going to be about 5.5 inches, and you can use that to help figure out exactly if any of those folding style accessories you might have can be stored upright without hitting the back of your XT5. But at the end of the day, you know, a good general purpose all around hitch. As far as the installation goes, it's really not too bad actually. Don't let the Cadillac brand scare you. Essentially, you loosen up a couple bolts under here, real easy, and put some hardware in the frame, and the hitch essentially just bolts up. So shouldn't really run into too many issues, but if you're gonna be installing it yourself, feel free to hang around. We'll go ahead, pull into the garage, and get started on it now. To begin our installation, we're gonna be underneath the back of our Cadillac, and what we can do first, we have this removable panel here. So we'll pull out a couple of fasteners and get it removed. You'll have a T15 on each side of the panel. So we'll get the Torx bit in there and get those fasteners removed. And then this should just kind of just pop off from our vehicle here. And we'll set it off to the side. On each side of the vehicle, here we're gonna have two 7mm head screws, and I'm gonna remove these just so our fascia has a little more wiggle room there, make it easier to get the hitch up. And from this point on, whatever we do to one side of the vehicle, we'll also do to the other side, because it'll be set up the same way. We're able to get our hardware in the frame now, and we're gonna have 3 attachment points. We have this hole here, this one, and this one. And then this larger one we're going to use as an access hole. So we'll start with this one, take the coiled end of your fish wire, push it through, and get it to come out of that access hole. Then what you can do is take a spacer block and a carriage bolt, and we'll thread that on to the pull wire. And then you're going to feed that hardware up into the frame one at a time. Pull down on it until it drops through. So I'm going to use that same technique and that same hardware combination to get the other attachment points ready. So if you have someone that can help you do this part, it makes it a lot easier. You can take your hitch and drop the pull wires through the corresponding holes in the hitch. And then we're just gonna slowly kind of raise it up and work it into position. It's a little tight, so I'm gonna have to finesse it a little bit just to clear the exhaust and all that stuff. But once you get it up there, all the bolts will drop through. You can remove one of the fish wires, and you're going to take a flange nut. You want to get at least one of them started hand tight on each side. That way the hitch will support itself while we work on the rest of them. Once you have all the hardware in place and hand tight, we'll come back with an 11/16 size socket and snug it all down. Make sure to come back with a torque wrench and tighten down all the hardware to the amount specified in your instructions. Make sure to come back as well and take those screws and put them back into the bottom of your fascia. And with that done, you're in good shape. So if you're ready to use the hitch, you can leave the panel off. If you're not going to be using it for a while, you can reinstall that too if you want. But with that said, that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2024 Cadillac XT5.